Excuse me, my friend. Already on my friend.
Want to have your clip featured in the Skyrim clip of the week? Simply record the clip on your Xbox and then send it to me via message. My gamertag is IRYENI, that's IRYENI, and you can message it to me over Xbox and I'll be able to view it. I look forward to seeing the clips that you guys send me. Now moving on to the video. Hey, what's up guys, it's Ryan and welcome back to another episode of Modded Monday. We're on week number 142 now, guys. I've picked out 5 new mods for you guys to check out and perhaps add them to your load order if you find them interesting. So let's just jump straight into it. Starting off at our number 5 spot, we have the alternate smithing categories mod. Now this is a very simple mod that changes the smithing interface to group items by their type, whether it be sword, maces, armor, etc., instead of just grouping them by the material. Now this is more of a preference mod, so if you like the way that it originally was with, having the different types of materials being displayed on what types of armor and weapons you can create, then that's fine, you can skip out on this mod. But I think it's very cool because if you want to create a new weapon, you want to see what all your options are first. Say you want to craft a new sword and get an upgrade from your previous one that you have. Let's say you have an iron sword. To get a better upgraded sword, you would have to go into the smithing station in the vanilla game and look through each and every different material category and scroll all the way down to the sword and just look in every single different category. Whereas with this mod, you could just open up the sword category and just scroll down your list of options there and what it takes to create each and every sword. In my opinion, this just cleans up the crafting station and makes it a little bit more easier to navigate because you can now craft swords, armor, and maces under specific categories. Instead of diving into each different material menu, you can just do it all from one menu now, and that's definitely why this mod comes in at our number 5 spot, so I'd recommend downloading the alternate smithing categories mod. Coming in at our number 4 spot, we have a very interesting mod called Big Leap 3x, jump 3 times as high. Now there's also 2 other mods called Big Jump 2 times and Big Jump 5 times, but I'm going to get into why I like this one so much here in a minute. Now the mod page reads, you can now leap 3 times as high and over walls. To celebrate the leap year, leap 3 times higher with the Big Leap 3x mod. This mod is for new or existing characters and can be safely added or disabled at any time. This mod allows for better improvements for gameplay and an alternative Big Jump 2 times and Big Jump 5 times, which I already mentioned. These also increase your jump height, so you can use these mods to scale mountainsides a little easier, leap over fences and barricades, leap on the top of small structures, leap up to those hard to reach places. You can also leap out of the way of weapons, arrows, spells, and dragon shouts, as well as tripling the jump height of your horse too. Now how the mod works is it actually changes the game setting for the player's jump height from 76 to 228. The safe falling height is also slightly increased, so you won't take damage when you land after jumping so high. When the mod is enabled, your character will be able to jump 3 times as high when standing still, and triple the distance when making a running leap. Since the game uses the player's jump height to determine the jump height of the player's horse, the mod also makes the player's horse jump higher and further, so scaling mountains is even easier than before. Now when it comes to disabling the mod, say you download it and you're testing it out and you actually don't like how it works, then you can just delete the mod and it'll be safe to reload the same save. Now when it comes to the reasoning as to why I prefer the 3 times over the 2 times and the 5 times, is simply because I used to play Oblivion so much and the jumping in that game was phenomenal. Now whenever they made the leap from Oblivion to Skyrim, they removed 2 very important skills. There was acrobats and athletics. These affected your jump height and how fast you would run, so basically being able to jump 3 times as high in Oblivion was doable if you had the right skill set, and having these skill sets made it easier to do quests. The Dark Brotherhood quest you could do a lot easier because you could jump onto 2nd story buildings a lot easier. You'd also be able to escape guards way easier and get out of those sticky situations a lot faster too. So being able to jump 3 times as high in this game made me feel like I was playing Oblivion again because of just the rooftops that I could scale and just how much I could get done just by jumping around and having 3 times the jump height. My only problem with this mod, and the only thing that I would suggest, is try to find a way to implement some sort of skill system where you could level up to the point where you could get the 2 times jump and then the 3 times jump, and then if you keep grinding and grinding and you become a master in this athletics and acrobat spin-off, then you'd be able to jump 5 times as high, making it so you can have a completely dynamic character whenever it comes to speed and jump height. Now another suggestion that I could make to make this mod even better would be to make it so that you can attack while falling or jumping. In Oblivion you could attack while falling and jumping and it made it so you could get your critical strikes way easier and just drop down on unsuspecting victims. And giving us the ability to do that in Skyrim, as well as giving us the 3x leap abilities, would just make combat a whole lot more dynamic, and you'd be able to perform better air attacks. And that's why I prefer the Big Leap 3x over the 2x and the 5x, and I hope this mod continues to be updated because I can see this mod having potential to stay on my load order from now on. And that's definitely why this mod comes in at our number 4 spot, so I'd recommend downloading the Big Leap 3x mod. Coming in at our number 3 spot, we have the Rustic Weathers preset mod. Now this is an add-on plugin for the main mod, which is Rustic Weathers and Lighting. And the mod page reads, this add-on gives you a power spell which you can cast to bring up a menu that allows you to pick from one of the several presets that have been made specific for Rustic Weathers and Lighting. These presets change the contrast, brightness, saturation, and bloom levels. Now the power that is given to you whenever you install the mod is called Rustic Weathers Presets and can be found in your powers. You can simply cast it as you would do a shout. Now the presets that are actually featured in this mod include the default preset, which just includes the default settings, as if you would have never installed the mod. Then there's the filmic preset, which is supposed to bring more of a photorealistic look. It's brighter, the contrast behaves better, but depth will be lacking a bit. Then there's the harsh preset, which is the very opposite of filmic. It's darker and the contrast is strong. It requires a monitor or TV that is capable of strong brightness to be fully enjoyed. Then we have the vibrant preset, which increases the brightness, saturation, and adds a little bit more bloom. This gives it somewhat of a fantasy feel. Moving on to the Pixar preset, it's a lot like Vibrant but has extra saturation, and then the Fantasy preset is similar to default except it has more bloom and slightly more saturation. And then we have the Bleak preset, which has a more washed out look to bring the medieval look to life. And then last but not least, we have the Vikings preset, which is a small teal tint to attempt to mimic the Vikings TV show look. So this mod gives you a ton of new choices whenever it comes to deciding how you want your game to look like, and having it alongside the Rustic Weathers and Lighting mod, making it so that you can have the greatest looking weathers of all time. Now like I said, in the number 4 spot, I do really enjoy playing Oblivion and I like the way that game looked and felt, so having the Vibrant preset makes it so everything is a lot more brighter and saturated and has a lot more bloom to give off that fantasy feel that I know and love from Oblivion. So Vibrant is my favorite preset that comes along with this mod, so that's definitely why this mod comes in at a number 3 spot, so I'd strongly recommend downloading the Rustic Weathers preset mod. Coming in at our number 2 spot, we have the Hunter's Cabin of Riverwood. Now the mod page reads, the Hunter's Cabin of Riverwood is a lore-friendly, free player home that's available to all players, almost as soon as you start the game. The perfect mod for those who want a beautiful, simple, yet functional house from the very beginning, without the feeling that you're ruining or going against the lore. Now how to get the house is very simple. Just look on the front porch for a note from the owner. It will direct you to Embershard Mine, which is the first mine icon that appears on your compass when you escape from Helgen. Once inside the mine, fight your way to the treasure room, and there you will find a key named Hunter's Cabin Key and a bandit report if you're interested in the background story. You can finish the dungeon and exit through the rear entrance, and once outside, just continue towards Riverwood. You then gain access to the new player house and lodge, which is just outside of Riverwood. It has a realistic backstory, such as the Embershard report and the hastily written note. There's lots of plants and flowers included with the house that can be used as ingredients around the cabin. There's also safe storage chests, fully functional bookshelves with room for around 14 books, a wood chopping block and axe, a pickaxe, a cooking pot, a tanning rack, a grindstone, an anvil, a smithing station, a huntsman bow, and over 100 steel arrows. There's also an archery skill book and a bed that gives a well-rested bonus, as well as a very small and non-overpowered starting position for your character. Now if you guys have been a fan of the series for a while, you'll know that I really like these smaller player homes just because you don't have to actually travel from place to place and go through door to door and loading screen through loading screen to get to where you want to go in your house. But I also like it so whenever houses are added into the game, not to just throw it onto the player without them having to do anything first or having to pay no money, just giving it to the player. I always feel that that's a little too overpowered, especially if the house comes with a big upgrade and a lot of unique stuff for your character to use. And I really like what this house mod does because it makes you go on a little mini quest that isn't even marked to take you to Embershard Mine at the beginning of the game just to get the player house, and I think that's really cool because once you get the player house, you don't actually have anything that's too overpowered other than the fact that you have all these smithing stations at your disposal, and you get a bow as well as an archery skill book, and that's really it. You don't really get too much more after that, so it's not too overpowered for your new character, and I just feel that that really brings the mod together. And the cabin itself looks great. It makes sense that it would be up here, and it's in a place that you can actually go hunting from, so if you're planning a new hunter character, this is definitely a mod that you should check out. And that's definitely why this mod comes in at our number 2 spot, so I'd strongly recommend downloading the Hunter's Cabin of Riverwood mod. Coming in at our number 1 spot, we have the Lore Weapon Expansion. Now this is a high quality mod that introduces a lot of new weapons into the world of Skyrim. All of these weapons included are in a stunning 2K quality as well. Some of these are added to the leveled list and some are craftable with the necessary perks. Now the mod page actually lists most of the weapons that have been changed and added into the game, such as the Cyrodiil versions of the Spiked Club, and then there's a glass bow, as well as the iron battle axe, bow, dagger, mace, longsword, claymore, and short sword. Moving on to the steel category, we have a steel bow, short sword, and longsword, and then there's the silver category, which includes a dagger and a short sword. And moving on to better things such as Daedric, we have the Daedric longsword and katana, and then the Dwemer category introduces us to the Dwemer battle axe, claymore, dagger, mace, sword, short sword, war axe, and warhammer. There's also a glass longsword, as well as an iron longsword, an iron club, an iron warhammer, an iron mace and tanto, and then the steel staff and club, as well as a Nordic dagger. So as you can see, there's a ton of new weapons that have been added into the game for you guys to use and play with. And one of my favorite parts about the mod is the Cyrodiil weapons that have been added into the game look exactly the same from Oblivion, just upgraded to be 2K textures. So all of your favorite weapons from Cyrodiil and Oblivion have been moved over to Skyrim and have been upgraded to have better textures. All in all, this gives you a ton of new weapons to choose from whenever you're going through and creating new characters, and that's definitely why this mod comes in at our number 1 spot, so I'd strongly recommend downloading the Lore Weapon Expansion mod. So that's pretty much it for this week's episode of the top 5 Skyrim mods of the week. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and if you did, I'd appreciate it if you left a like and subscribe if you're new. It really helps me out a lot. And if you have any suggestions for mods you'd like me to cover in future top 5 mod episodes, be sure to let me know in the comment section below, or you can follow me on Twitter. I'll be sure to leave my Twitter in the description, and you guys can follow me on there and leave me suggestions to there as well. Special shout out to my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys have done for me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I will talk to you guys later.